Hey everybody, my name is Sean V. Bradley. I'm CEO of Dealer Synergy, and we have here,
Joe Calla, General Manager of Dealer Synergy.
and this video is going to be Internet Director responsibilities. But first, I want to just give you my background in case you don't know. I've been in automotive internet sales for 15 straight years, and I was a very high-level internet director at several different dealerships. One of them was Pine Belt, Nissan, Kia, Cadillac, where I took a dealership doing 22, 23 units a month to over 110 units a month, and I did it 12 years ago. Then after that, I went to Cherry Hill Nissan, a single-point Nissan dealership. I took the store from doing 30, 40 units a month to over 100 units a month at a single-point Nissan dealership, Cherry Hill Nissan. So I know a little thing or two about being a really strong internet director. Joey, tell me your background.
So we were in the business about 1993 is when I started, and then I got out for a little while and came back into it in 2004 to 2006. I was the internet manager and sales manager over at Nelson Mazda in Oklahoma. And then from there went to Gateway Toyota and was over there from '06 to 2012 and was the internet manager over there. And we went from 7 units to 80 units over in Oklahoma with Nelson Mazda. And when I started over at Gateway Toyota, we were at about 40 units. And when I left, we were about 150 on total internet units that we were doing out of our department. So we have some experience between the two of us that we can speak to regarding internet sales directors, internet managers, and all of the best practices that are necessary to be successful.
So you'll see, like, in the background, the cover of Auto Success magazine that I'm on, and all of our clients, there's a bunch of them. And then Joe is at Nelson Mazda with Lindsay Toscano, and they're on the cover of Digital Dealer magazine. So this is not just in our minds. So you've got a tremendous amount of high-level internet director experience from different parts of the country, New Jersey, Oklahoma, and we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of units a month we ran out of our departments. Now, I did it back in the day, which I'm very proud of. Joey just did it recently. He just came out. You still smell like the dealership showroom, bro.
Yeah, I do. I know.
All right, so let's get into it. The internet director responsibilities. I'm going to go first. Is that cool?
Sure, that's fine.
First and foremost, the internet director, I got to tell you, is the most important aspect of the success of the department. You have to have an internet director. I see dealerships that don't have an internet director. That is not conducive to business. You've got to respect the fact that the internet director is like a manager of any other profit center. You're not going to not have an F&I manager. You're not going to not have a fixed ops manager or service manager or parts manager or body shop manager or a sales manager. You can't run a dealership without a manager. So why would you try to run an internet department or BDC without an internet manager or BDC manager? It makes no sense. So let's just get that part straight right here. You need a manager if you want a real department. If you're just taking some leads and you're doing this and that, you're living in the Flintstone days. 92 to 99% of Americans go online before they step into the dealership. Here's what I'm going to say though. NADA says the average dealership sells 96 cars, less than 100 units a month, the average dealership. There's 17,800 dealerships in the country. And the average dealership only sells 96 cars. With 96 cars, they have 10 salespeople, they've got 2 sales managers, and they have either a GSM or a GM, and they have an F&I manager. Let's do the math. That's 14 people to handle 96 deliveries. Roughly, they're talking about maybe 500 ups come through their dealership, all those people. Our internet departments, we're talking about a high-level internet director, maybe 5 to 6 appointment setters, and you could deliver 100 plus units a month out of your internet department. Think about it. And we're talking about 800 fresh, 900 fresh leads a month, residual flow factor of 1,000 plus leads a month. So how is it that you're going to have a department if you've got 300, 400, 500, 600, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 or more leads a month? How would you not have a real manager, a strong manager? So what you need to do is you need to look at your internet director or a choice that you're about to make as an internet director and say, would this person be a good sales manager in my dealership? If the answer is no, then don't make him or her an internet director. If they can't close a sandwich, they don't belong back there. The days back in the day in the 90s and the early 2000s of having a young geek or nerd or Gen X, Gen Y person to relate to the internet customers are over. We are now literally synonymous with showroom sales. There isn't an us or them. The internet department is part of the overall internet dealership. Joey, what's your opinion on this?
So I think that's important stuff that you're talking about, because the internet department truly is an engine that moves this dealership to where you're trying to accomplish when it comes to your numbers and your bottom line, your goals. And one of the things that really does make a difference is who's leading that department. Because without a leader, then where are they going to get their direction from? They're just going to go ahead and aimlessly shoot at trying to hit goals and numbers that they have no direction from anybody to try to accomplish. So the leader is very key to being successful for that department. And one of the things that I've been noticing is that there's been a very strong emphasis on leadership in that department as the internet director. And I've been talking to internet directors that we have as our clients lately on a very consistent basis. And one of the most important things that I'm making sure that they understand is, first and foremost, they need to lead from their feet and not just by their seat. In other words, they need to be walking around actively engaged and involved with what's going on within their department. Now, I get it. There's also those times where you're going to be sitting down doing all your reports and looking at your numbers and analyzing your cost per lead and all that stuff. However, it's very important to make sure you are truly engaged as an internet director over your people, because it's so key to the success of what you're trying to accomplish for numbers and overall as a dealership together. So I piggyback on what you're saying about the importance of having the right person in the right place as the internet director.
So to jump in, what Joe is saying is so I hope that I've clearly articulated, and Joe supports me on, is that the internet director needs to be a real manager. Okay, you can't be the bastard manager of the dealership. You can't be the joke manager of the dealership. You can't turn around and feel like you are not a real manager. The dealership needs to start from the top, from the dealer principal, the general manager, the GSM, all the way down, needs to accept that the internet department is a real profit center. Therefore, it needs to have a real manager in that department. That manager needs to have the same authority and needs to be equal with any other sales manager in that organization. The salespeople can't go, you're just the internet manager. What are you going to tell me for? What are you going to say? I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
They need to have authority, not just the responsibility and the accountability, but they need to have the authority. Would you agree?
100%. And that is true, because if they don't feel empowered, then they're gonna shrink back from their responsibilities and their authority to try and push the agenda for what they're supposed to do in there. So they have to have confidence, and that's only going to come from the higher-ups, dealer principal, the GM of the store. There has to be equality across the board, so it's a good point.
Okay, so now, again, I'm trying to hammer it home before we go into what the descriptions are. You need to make sure that you have the right manager. And when I say a sales manager, because it's an internet sales department, okay, digital marketing is one thing. I'll be honest with you. When I sold cars 15 years ago and up to like 10 years ago when I was an internet director and BDC director at Cherry Hill Nissan, it's a different world. 10 years ago is totally different. I can't run my internet department of today the way that I ran it 10 years ago. Even though I sold 110 units out of my internet department a decade ago, it's different now. There's a lot more going on with social media, texting, communication, all these different tools and resources and CRMs and all that stuff. You can't expect the internet director nowadays to do the same stuff they did back then. It is very important. If you look at your internet director right now and they can't do TOs, they can't command the respect of the rest of the dealership and the rest of the organization, there's a problem. So again, before we go on to the next part of this, I want to solidify, you need to have a real manager, a strong manager. I'm gonna say something very controversial here, all right? And I want your opinion on this. I believe that an internet director today are the general managers of the future. And this is what I mean by that, is because with 92 to 99% of Americans going online before they ever step foot into a dealership, the internet is so important. BDC is so important. Digital marketing, communication, social media, all this stuff is so important. So if you don't have these skills, you're in trouble. I'll give you an example. If you take a look on the screen over here, we've got Alan Vine's Automotive from Jackson, Tennessee. Good old boys from Jackson, Tennessee. They had a guy named Duran Cage. Duran Cage was a Chrysler OEM rep. He went in, he worked for the store as the internet manager. They jacked him off for Chrysler OEM as their rep. They made him the internet manager for a year. This guy was a college graduate. He was off the hook. The most he ever did was 25 units by himself, right? We came in, we helped him put everything in perspective. He went from 25 units to 95 units and on the cover of Auto Success magazine. Guess what happened to him? He got promoted to GSM, and I love it. I'm so proud of it because that's how it should be. He took a department from 25 units to 95 units, and they made him a GSM, as they should have. That's what people need to understand. The internet department shouldn't be the demotion or, oh, I don't want to go in there. That's where nobody respects me. You should love it because that's the present, not the future. That's the present of dealerships, and it is the absolute future. I just wrote an article. I'm on the cover of the Metro Atlanta Auto Dealer Associations, and the article is The Evolution and Natural Selection of Automotive Sales. What that means is that there's an evolution happening. Who Moved My Cheese? That book personifies what I'm about to say. Things have changed. If you are not completely immersed in the internet department, you are really sleeping at the wheel. If you want to be successful, if you want to crush your competition, the best way is through internet initiatives. And who are you going to have? Just some flim-flam person, some cheap person? The person you're going to blow out on the showroom floor, you give them a shot in the internet department, the parts manager's daughter, yeah, give her a shot in there? No, you need a real manager. Joey, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I truly believe that, like you had said, even 10 years ago, yes, it was different, but I'd say even 3 to 5 years ago is different. How you're doing business in your internet department today has changed just from 3 to 5 years ago. And so you do truly, when you look at the hierarchy of a dealership, most GMs, were never internet managers. But I do agree with that. The future is going to be most GMs in the future will have had internet manager experience. Because again, this is just the way that the fabric of our culture has set up in our society, has set up for us to be internet minded when it comes to buying cars as well as whatever else we're buying out there. And I mean, think about it. Right now, probably everyone watching this has an internet attached to their hip on their phone or their tablet. And so the majority, especially when it comes to the mobile use of it, I'm telling you, man, this is the way it goes and this is the way it's going.
Absolutely. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to stop this video right here, and on the very next video, I'm going to go through with Joe exactly the responsibilities of an internet director in 2013 and beyond. Okay, this is going to be just my experience, Joe's experience, 15 years experience, 12 years experience in automotive internet sales that's going to come at you. But the purpose of this first video was just to solidify how important this internet director position is, how important it is to have the right type of a person, the mindset, male or female, it doesn't matter to me, minority, non-minority, it doesn't matter. What I'm looking for is a real manager, somebody that you all in your dealership could say, yes, that person is at the least the caliber of a sales manager. I'll also add this. If you're expecting, Joey, if you're expecting your internet department to sell over 100 units a month and you have somebody that you wouldn't even expect to be a sales manager, where are you going? In my opinion, somebody that's going to run your department, that's going to sell 100 units out of your internet department, they should be the level of an advanced sales manager, if not a GSM. They should have been an advanced sales manager or a GSM before. How are you going to expect to sell 100 cars out of your internet department? Oh, I could never sell 100 cars. I wonder why. Maybe you have the wrong manager. I'm just saying. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed listening to and learning the information that you just saw. Because if you did, I promise you're going to love automotive digital training. So do me a favor, go to automotivedigitaltraining.com and take a look.